To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as your ticket is scanned at the main gate? Is it the seafaring smell of pirate water? Or is it charting a course to a land where you may never grow up? Whether it's singing a familiar song, watching a movie, or riding your favorite attraction for the 100th time, Disney undeniably has a way to warm our hearts, believe in magic, and bring joy into our lives. This is Main Gate Magic, a podcast where we break down and discuss the infectious happiness, delight, and thrill of all things Disney. Good evening, everybody, and let's get ready to Main Gate Magic! Yay! I don't know why I said that. It just sounded like fun. Welcome, everybody. It is a little after 6 o'clock on Tuesday, April 29th. We are on episode 17 of Season 2, and with me, as always, is one of my wonderful co-hosts, Miss Leia. How you doing tonight, Leia?
I am doing wonderfully. Thank you.
Wonderful. Glad to have you back. And also joining the stage is our returning special guest, Mr. Jerry Cornell of Theme Parkology. Everybody give it up for Jerry Cornell. Everybody, nice round of applause. Welcome back to the show. I know. Such a warm welcome, huh?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. Really busy, but good. I like being busy. I like all the things that I'm working on. But I'm good.
What you busy working on? I know. Now, for those folks who have not seen your prior episode and would like to know more about Theme Parkology, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is?
I produce documentaries on theme parks, attractions, characters, legends, animators, just about everything. And, I do a lot of the attractions and theme parks, and we go into the history, and we have a narrator who narrates it, and I add the music, and I also try to interview people who actually worked on it, like Bob Gurr, Rolly Crumb, people like that are affiliated with it. I just started the character series, which breaks a character down through the history of, say, Minnie Mouse, and then I get the voice of Minnie Mouse to come on and talk about her character and everything. And
that sounds like a wonderful idea. I should have her on the show.
Yeah, you should. She is a sweetheart. Caitlin is just adorable. She's just so funny. She's hilarious.
She's the embodiment of who she plays.
Really is. She really is. And it's really surreal when I'm asking her a question and she's answering, "Oh yeah, I got the job, did this," and I sounded like, and she starts to go into character, and it's like, that's super cool. It's rewarding for me right there. I just really love that.
Yeah, she has no problem clicking. Like, she just goes right into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of voiceovers, call me crazy. Have I heard your voice, Jason, on Theme Parkology documentary?
Let's see. I may have done a DVD or two for Theme Parkology.
I knew it.
Yeah, I've done.
You're definitely in the double digits, so I'm thinking you're 20, maybe 17, somewhere around there.
Is it really that much?
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
That is really crazy.
Yeah. Actually, I'm getting ready to send you a couple of DVDs that you voiced that are completed. The Adventureland Treehouse just got released, so I'll be sending.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And what did I just finished up one for Donald Duck recently, right?
And that one's actually completed, but I'm just working on the audio a little bit.
Now, which Donald did you interview for that one?
Two of them actually. I interviewed Sam Quasman.
Yes.
Who does a lot of the merchandising and things like that, voice of, and Daniel Ross, who's the voice of Donald, one of three Donalds. So it was very nice. He's such a great guy, and he's funny and hilarious, and just like, a lot of energy.
And an Emmy winner as well.
And an Emmy winner, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Yeah. I really hope to get him on the show one day. I would love to be able to get both of them on, but I don't know how that would work out, but we'll see.
I might drive you
to Donald's.
Yeah. You know what was really cool? Sam, and I actually put this on the DVD. Sam sang Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious as Donald.
No
my
way.
goodness, that would
Yes,
be talent.
it was so brilliant. It was so good. I put it at the tail end of it, right before the logo goes up. So,
Was
Oh,
it
I
at
have
the
to
duck
hear that.
tail of it? Was it at the duck tail end of it?
yeah, you know,
Come
I'll have to
on.
use that for my
I
promos.
know.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah,
my sound bite for that, right? I need to have like a dad joke sound bite for that and little drum
yeah.
snare hit. Well, in case anybody that is in the audience is wondering, we were supposed to have a special guest on tonight by the name of Adasa. Unfortunately, she had a last minute scheduling conflict, and we are doing everything that we can to obviously accommodate her for that. And she has graciously been generous enough to say, she still wants to be on the show, and we're going to hopefully schedule her for a later time in May. So keep your eyes peeled for a future episode. She will be here. I promise it'll happen. I just have to kind of catch up with her schedule. So we are kind of doing this particular version of Main Gate Magic today. And what we are calling it is actually borrowing from something that Jerry did on themeparkology.com called Keys to the Kingdom. And I actually did an episode of Keys to the Kingdom for this with Mary Gibbs, who is the voice of Boo. We've had her on the show before. And a gentleman by the name of Spaceman, who was a friend of hers at the time. And we talked about the concept of the show, of that particular episode, is if you had the keys to the kingdom, Disneyland, Florida, the Magic Kingdom out there, Tokyo Disneyland, or Disneyland Paris, whatever, and unlimited funding and unlimited resources to be able to change anything you wanted to about the parks, what would you do? Would you add an attraction, change an
Ooh.
attraction? Would you bring an attraction back from the grave? Those are the kind of things that we talked about. And I thought, hey, what a cool idea if we brought it to the live show. I thought that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ideas, except for
There
mine.
was.
No one liked my ideas.
Tell me what your idea was. Remind me what that was, because I
My
think I
idea
know what
was
it is.
to strip Disney California and bring Disneyland forward, and then fill in one big Disneyland theme park. And yeah, everybody just didn't like that. You would take this
Yeah,
down, take that down.
it was a little frowned upon. But you know
Yeah.
what? That's the great thing about a topic like this, is that there's no wrong answers.
Well,
Yeah,
it sure
that's
felt wrong.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it doesn't mean that people aren't going to like it. It just means that
Yeah.
there's no wrong answers. It's just coming from you. It's coming from your heart and your mind and your imagination, and
Yeah.
it's what you imagine your magic to be. Let's just put it that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I'm old school. I come from an era where Disneyland was just one small park that looked big, but it was actually really small, and there were no lines, and it wasn't crowded, and you could run from one ride to another. You could even get on a ride, and they'll ask you, "Would you like to go again?" 2 or 3 times. My brother and I did that a lot on the rockets.
The Astro Orbiter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but back then it was called something else, and you had to take the elevator up, and all. It was really cool. And the guy would just let us go on as much as we want.
Did they give you like free vomit bags as well for going in circles that many times?
We're kids, so we got pretty strong stomach at that age, and then
yeah, that's true.
We could run from one end of the park to the other and still be excited to go on a ride. And
back when it was still fairly small. Well, actually, it's really not that much bigger than it used to be. I mean, they have expanded it into Galaxy's Edge, which has definitely, moved it outward.
Right.
That and the addition of Toontown has expanded it outward as well, beyond the railroad tracks of the Disneyland Railroad. But I remember those days, because I actually grew up in Southern California. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but I went with my friends as often as I could, but when my parents, were like, "Oh, you're old enough now. We're going to put you in this summer day camp program at the YMCA," and I would go there, and they would pay the monthly fee for whatever it was for the 3 months that I was out of school for the summertime, and we'd have crafts and skit stuff to do like at the Y itself, but then the money that they paid actually went towards going to fun places like every Friday for the summertime. And it would be
cool.
a really neat, park with all these playgrounds and stuff like that. We would go to we went to the Griffith Park Observatory once, I remember. We went to La Brea Tar Pits. We went to the Jim Henson Museum once. But then they also got us to go to Disneyland every once in a while, and Magic Mountain and Universal Studios and Knott's Berry Farm. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the best summer camp ever. Like, who wants to roast marshmallows when you can go see Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I liked it so much that when I became old enough to be on my own, they said, well, if you're not coming back as a camper next year, why don't you come back as a counselor in training? It's a volunteer job. It doesn't pay anything, but it's a great way to spend the summertime. And
That's
the cool
cool.
thing is that there was a counselor and then a counselor in training. So an older person that could take care of, younger kids. And then me as like an older teen that was taking care of the younger kids with him.
Mhm.
So we would take them to the theme parks. And then when we were done at the theme parks, we would get our hand stamped, take the kids back to the Y, drop them off, have the parents pick them up, and the park still closed pretty late back then. So we just drove right back and finished out the night and closed the place down. It was awesome.
Nice.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's one of my favorite stories to tell about growing up down there. So I think that was one of the things that kind of invigorated my love for Disney, is that I got to go so many times because of that experience.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, we don't have a lot of people in the audience tonight, and I wonder why that is. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It'll happen.
Yeah,
but you know what? Like our number one fan is always here and attentive and says, hi, everyone. But Patricia, thank you so much for being a loyal fan. We love you so much.
We really do.
She says, that sounds so much fun. Yeah, it was really cool. There's a lot of great memories. And yeah, Jerry, I'm with you. I ran in the parks.
Yeah.
They weren't so strict about it.
Back then, we could run to one end of the park to the other. Now we have to take the the monorail from one end of the park to the other. Yeah.
The train. Yeah.
Yeah, take the train. I've done that. Yeah, it's
right.
It seems more work and effort now as you're older, and
a little bit
more expensive now that I'm paying for it.
Definitely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and get into it? So So again, the rules of the game are that, and it's not really a game. There's no points for winning. There's no losers or anything like that, but it's just for fun. Is if you had the keys to the kingdom, unlimited funding and unlimited resources, what would you change, add, or subtract from any of the Disney parks? And if you had even if you have an idea about like maybe a movie to make or something like that, let's extend it out into the rest of the Disney universe and say, like, what would you do for like a Star Wars movie or maybe a Disney movie or a Pixar movie? Another idea for that. Like if you just had that type of influence in the Disney universe, what would you do? Now, Jerry, because you've got so much experience with all this and you have all the documentaries and everything, aside from removing and bulldozing California Adventure, what would you do? And I know Disneyland is kind of like close to your heart, so let's maybe start there.
I think one of the things I would do, and I think a lot of people would love this too, is if they went into Tomorrowland and they took the Star Wars themed attraction, the Star Tours and the meet and greet area, and moved it into Galaxy Quest. They need
Galaxy Quest.
I'm sorry,
movie.
Galaxy's
Edge.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it feels like it belongs there. I mean, and the Star Tours I don't think it would take as much space, but they could theme it in there, and I think that would be really cool if they did that. More immerse into the Star Wars franchise by going into Star Tours and then going into the Millennium Falcon, and I think that would be great. Maybe even update it with something that connects to, the ride, the Millennium ride. I think that would be a great idea. Have more character. Have more Disney, not Disney, but more George Lucas characters out there, like Hammerhead or Boba Fett, which I've heard there was a Boba Fett. I've never seen one though.
They have the Mandalorian that walks around with Grogu.
The Mandalorian, okay. Yeah.
I've got my picture taken with him before, and the Grogu that he has in his pouch is animatronic too. So it moves his head around and looks around, and his eyes blink and stuff like that, and his mouth moves. It's pretty impressive for a walking character. But I agree, because I mean I feel like there's even like have you been to Galaxy's Edge yet?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, several times. Yeah.
Okay. So, at the very end of the markets, when you're walking away from the marketplace and down to where Rise of the Resistance is,
Yes.
there is a lot of space in
Yeah.
between
It
those
kind of like
two.
opens up,
Yeah,
and this is huge.
it's a
Yeah,
long
space.
path. I'd
Yeah.
say it's at least a good maybe like 25, 30 yards
Hmm.
from
Yeah.
the end of the
Easily.
market to where you get into the ride queue. Yeah, I feel like they could put the footprint of a Star Tours somewhere in that area.
Yeah, and maybe even add another Star Wars theme attraction. Well, what would be really cool is if you had like the orbiter, but they had like Star Wars vehicles that you could fly. That would be heckin' cool.
Like
Different,
mini
different.
That'd be
mini
cool.
X-wings and TIE fighters and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or
That would,
have
Oh, I love
a
that.
pod race, like
yeah,
from episode
oh,
1.
that would be really cool.
Oh, I just got chills thinking about that because, yeah. Oh, a pod race ride would be amazing.
Yeah, maybe like
What?
Autopia, but they're all pod race cars. That'd be really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, you know what? Since we're talking about that and we're on the topic of a racing ride, I'm gonna pick your brain, Jerry. No, and we're gonna go to a different theme park now. But since you're here, I figured that's the best thing to do. Knott's Berry Farm, right?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever done any documentaries on that? Have you been to that park
I,
often
I have
enough?
I have an interview from there, but I've yet to do it on the Berry uh, coaster ride that they had there. But I haven't yet done it. I have a light script that I'm working on,
Uh-huh.
but there's just so many projects that I can't get to everything.
So they used to have a ride there. I think it was called the Wacky Soapbox Races or something like that. It was the Soapbox Racers or Wacky
Yes.
Soapbox. I know there was a cartoon called the Wacky Soapbox Racers, but this one was called the Soapbox Derby or something like that. And it was, I forget the name of the roller coaster it is and how they set it up, but you're basically sitting in this tiny little car. Think of sort of like a Matterhorn type vehicle, but without it being connected to multiple trains, just by itself. And instead of having like connected cars in front or behind you, you're in a single car, and then to your right or left or whatever, depending on where you are, there's three other racers. So there's four tracks running parallel to each other throughout this entire ride.
Oh, that's cool.
And, I don't know if it was random or if it was based on the weight of the vehicle, who won or who lost or whatever, but it was a racing ride. And I want to say it was based off of an old Coney Island ride as well, where instead of it being in soapboxes where you could sit down and buckle yourself in, it was almost like carousel horses that you would board, and they would run on these tracks, and there'd be like four of them next to each other, and you would ride that way. Now, doing a ride like that but instead with pod racers, that would be cool.
That would be really
That
cool.
sounds cool.
Yeah. I'm all for that.
Patricia says Guardians of the Galaxy Star Wars ride crossover.
Oh,
What?
Ooh.
Oh, Patricia, you are a temptress. That would be
that's a pretty good
interesting.
idea. I like that.
I wonder if, and now it doesn't even have to be a ride. I mean, we talked about movies. Like, how would you work that into a movie?
Yeah.
Guardians of the
that'd be
Galaxy with Star Wars Galaxy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. I don't even know how that boggles my mind. If somebody actually was ever charged with the writing for that, I'd pity the fool, because that is a brainstorming nightmare.
Yeah.
That would be a trip.
Yeah.
Putting those two together.
In some sense, it almost feels like Guardians would feel more of the past, while Star Wars is more of the future. So it doesn't quite line up, but there are ways. I mean,
Wait, Star Wars is in a galaxy a long time ago, so that would be in the past. Guardians in the future.
well, yeah, but that's all in perspective. I mean, in the future, the past could be like in the past, or if you're that far in the future, where you're at right now in the future, could just not be a blip away.
Let's not get into time travel,
can have
Jerry.
fun with it,
I
yeah.
will remove you from the show.
Yeah,
You're this close.
we'll save that for a different. No, but yeah, that's a
Right.
great idea. I like that.
Yeah. But I mean, you're right. They do say a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So
Yeah.
we never know who's telling that story or how long ago
How far
it
ago?
was.
Exactly.
And,
I
it
never
could be,
thought
like
about
you
that.
said, it could be way, 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 way in the future, and it's somebody telling a story from way, way,
Yeah.
way back in the past. So,
Or
yeah.
it could be way, way in the past, and we've already surpassed all that. Well, Not in our galaxy, but
Yeah.
they never have Earth on Star
On
Wars.
Star
We
Wars?
never, yeah,
No.
never
It's
see
No.
it's
Earth.
a it's because it's a galaxy far, far away.
It's
Yeah,
not our galaxy. Yeah.
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 Not our
there are a
galaxy.
lot of humans walking around, so they never mention.
Yes. There are humans. Yeah,
So
and humanoids and characters we just never see before, but that's why it's a different universe. So it's
yeah,
Yeah.
totally fine. So
yeah, great
um
franchise.
oh, absolutely. Now I would love to see, because when I was in Florida, I had the opportunity to go on the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot. It was something Rewind, Cosmic Rewind. I think it's
Oh,
called
okay.
Cosmic Rewind. That ride is a trip, and it's because the seats of the coaster, or the cars of the coaster, they turn while you're going on the ride at speed, not just like a slow dark ride, but you are traveling at speed, and the cars have, I think, sort of like a pre-programmed way they can rotate, and you can see different areas. So like when you kind of come into this sort of helix area where it's circling this gigantic planet, the cars turn so that while the track is coming around in a circle, you are all facing inward at this amazing looking, I'm sure it's probably projected planet in the middle of this
Oh,
huge room, and
that's
it makes you feel like
awesome.
you're flying
Wow.
around in the galaxy and just staring at this thing. So but it changes your focal point. I would love to see something like that at Disneyland, or even California Adventures.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Maybe not necessarily themed towards Guardians of the Galaxy, though. I'm wondering if maybe they could do something from like a Pixar movie like Elemental. You know what I mean? And they could take you to the town where all the elements are and everything, and have those elements like
That would be neat.
fire and ice and earth and stuff like that. And you could actually experience like the heat and the smells of nature from the earth people and stuff like that. I
Wow,
think that might be neat.
that would be awesome.
It does sound cool.
Now, have you
Yeah.
guys seen that movie Elemental?
Oh yeah.
I actually didn't.
Oh
Was it good? Or
yes.
It's
It's
very
good.
good.
It's good after the first 20, 30 times. I don't know what it is, but my grandkids will focus on one film, and that's all they want to watch for like months, and then they'll move to another show. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I've watched it plenty of times.
You know what? I'd be curious to know what their opinion of this particular topic would be like, if they, from a child's mind, could change something in the Disney universe. What would it
Yeah,
be? Especially the parks, because I'm sure that they've
yeah.
been to Disneyland before, right?
No, they've never been. Yeah.
You're a
You've
horrible
never been?
grandfather.
Well,
Oh,
my daughter wants to wait until they're a little older so they can remember. But we did take him to
Oh, okay.
Legoland, and he just loved it. I mean, both my grandkids loved it. They were just
Patricia says, we just recently got Disney Plus back, getting caught up. Yeah, that's definitely one that you should absolutely watch. It's not my favorite. I think it is a Pixar movie. It's not my favorite Pixar movie, but it is still got a lot of enduring moments, and it's a cute love story.
I'll have to watch that one.
Obviously a completely different universe, because all of the people, will say, are literally like, you're either a fire element, an earth element, a water element, or
yeah.
I forget. Is there more than that? Oh, the
Fire,
clouds. There's the air, like
clouds,
they're all
yeah, the air.
clouds. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
How
okay.
funny. I think there's a cloud city in the
yeah.
movie too. I never even
It's
thought
very
about that.
interesting how they take the elements and they really bring it to life. It's a clever way of using ordinary objects, but they're made for specific fire or specific clouds. Or
Right.
it's just that I really liked about the film. But I don't know. Is that what you would like to see? Elements in one of those type of
Yeah.
rides?
I mean, and so, like I said, something more immersive where you can actually feel, smell, things like, think about soaring around the world, or soaring around over California, where they introduce the scents every time that you go to a new area. Like you go to the ocean and you can smell like the sea breeze, and you go to like in Soaring Around the World, you go to Africa and the elephants spray up dirt, and you can literally smell the dirt on the ride.
Yeah,
Things like
cool.
that. I mean, those
yeah.
types of elements could definitely be introduced.
Cast members are throwing dirt at your face.
I want that job. It's like, sign me up, put me on the list.
That's
Yeah, that'd be great.
great.
Yeah.
And
No,
then, of course, fire is an easy element for rides. They do it in Indiana Jones and another rides as well around the world. So I see
Yeah,
no
you just do
reason.
that little burst of heat. I've had rides
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
isn't it cool? So okay, now, Leia, I'm going to get to you now. I'm going to put you on the spot because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you want to meet somebody who has never been to a Disney park, you're looking at her.
And
She
it's
has not
such
been
a
to Disney.
contradiction because everyone thinks I have been because nobody loves Disney as much as I do in my
Right?
circle of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, this
I don't
fall
think
I
we
want to
can
go
be
with
friends
Jason and
anymore,
Lisa.
Leia.
What?
I don't think we can be friends anymore, Leia.
Yeah, kick me off the show right now.
Contact me when you go to the park.
Okay, goodbye. See you later.
Yeah.
No more Leia. Okay, just kidding.
Um, this fall I really want to come and go with you guys. That's
Yeah,
like
that'd be
my
fun.
goal.
Yes, we have to make that happen.
Okay, so I've been like thinking in the back of my head, what would be a ride that would be so Disney and so like close to my heart? Like it would just make my heart melt. I don't even know if this is a ride, so this is a shot in the dark.
Okay.
I would love it if there was a ride where it's like immersive and you're part of the story. It'd be so cool if you could actually walk and the characters were animatronic and they could walk with you, but I don't think that's in the budget. So, oh, there's no budget.
There's no budget.
No
There's
budget.
no budget.
No,
Okay, I'm
you
gonna
are
go for it.
like your imagination is the only limitation. So let it fly.
Oh, it's even better. Okay, so you walk into Christopher Robin's room from the actual 1950s, 60s movie, like that white
Okay.
room with the blue. And then you open this cupboard and you like crawl through this little opening and you come into the 100-acre woods. And Pooh from Christopher Robin is there. And he starts walking you around to like Rabbit's house. And then Tigger comes hopping along. And like you go into Pooh's house and you spend time with him. And then the heffalumps and woozles come and it gets kind of scary. And then like you see Pooh climb the tree with the bees and it would just be so magical.
I started bouncing around like this when you said Huffalumps and Woozles because I can picture the sound in my head.
Yeah.
Huffalumps and
Heffalumps and
Woozles.
It would be so innocent though and so sweet. And I think that everyone would leave with the most warm glow in their heart. Like, oh, that was so Disney.
Yeah.
I do wish
Who
some
would
of,
wave you off and thank you for being his friend?
I do wish some of the rides would be a little longer. They just seem a lot of the dark rides are just like before you can process what you just saw, it's time to get off the ride.
Well, the old school rides are like that. Well, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'd say one of the quickest ones ever is Snow White's, before it was Snow White's Scary Adventures, I think, but now it's Snow White's Enchanted Wish. That is one of the fastest rides they actually have.
Yeah, they want you in and out
Fantasy World.
like really fast. Yeah.
Yeah, and Pinocchio's pretty quick. Peter Pan, I think it's a little bit longer of a time if I'm thinking correctly. Even Mr. Toad's is got a decent ride time.
That's because those are the rides everybody wants to go on. I mean, that's on everybody's list.
Is it like a storybook type ride?
Yeah, I mean it's a dark ride,
kinda,
so
if you're a kid, you could really get immersed into one of these dark rides. When I was growing up, we'd go on the Peter Pan. You actually load a ship, one of a sailing ship, and it actually takes off, and it goes up into the air, and you feel like you have these little villages you can look down and see, and it's beautiful. It's really clever, and you really feel like you're in the ride, you're in the book, you're in the story.
That at Disneyland?
Yes. Pretty much at all the Disney parks.
Wait, so I have a question. Is there a Winnie the Pooh ride like this? Like, did I guess something that already exists?
Similar.
There is a ride. Yeah.
Okay.
It's called The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And you basically you board a gigantic beehive that's got seats carved out into it.
Oh,
and
fun.
as soon as you enter, then this used to be actually where the Country Bear Jamboree was over in Critter Country, which is now known as Bayou Country. And once you board the hive, I guess we'll call it, you go inside the double doors, and then it starts telling you a story about one day in the blustery 100-acre wood, and then you feel, and they say blustery day, and all of a sudden you get hit with wind. And then the characters are experiencing a rainy, windy day in the 100-acre woods. And
and you hear the music in the background. And rain. Yeah. And then, And it
They'll
goes
be
into
leading
another
you
thing.
down, 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 and
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, see, yeah, and it's a great ride too. It's so much fun. I
It's
mean, it's
very
definitely for
charming.
little kids. And when you're in the hunt, the beehive, you feel it's not like just a vehicle that just runs kind of like a flat. It actually has some kind of mechanism where it kind of like rocks back and forth and tilts
Yeah.
front and back a little bit, just
Oh,
ever so
Yeah.
slightly. So you kind of feel like the ride itself feels animated.
oh, I love
So
that. I'm
again,
gonna
just
be running
another.
to that ride.
Yeah. It's a good ride.
It usually
um,
has a pretty short wait time, so that's one you can go on pretty easily.
Yeah.
awesome.
Pretty easily.
Yeah.
I
And
had one more.
the theme of it is Pooh's birthday. So you're heading towards Pooh's
Oh,
birthday, and
Yeah.
you actually do go into Pooh's dream, and the Heffalumps and Woozles are there.
no
Yeah.
way. So I was
Yeah.
on board.
Absolutely.
I kind of was on the right track
Yeah.
for what's
Yes.
already there.
It's
Do you
amazing
think
how close you were though, but you were thinking more of like a walk through sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
100-acre wood? Yeah, and you
Yeah.
visit everyone's house. Yeah, I think that'd be so fun.
They
That'd
could
be
call the land the 100-acre wood.
that would be great. And
Yeah.
then you had like a meet and greet. You go to Pooh's house, and then there's Pooh, the character.
Yeah, just like going to Mickey's house, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. That'd be really cool.
That'd
What
be
was your
so
other
fun.
idea, Leia?
Oh my gosh, I think this would be so amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if this one is here too. That would be so, so cool to come upon the beast's castle when it's under the spell and come in the doors. And like Lumiere and Cogsworth, they start leading you there, and then they lead you into the West Wing, and you see the beast in the torn
Oh,
picture, and
yeah.
he starts chasing you down the stairs, and then you run outside, and there's like wolves. I don't know. That'd be so cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
They
Do
do
they?
have a
Scary, but
pretty
cool.
they do
Yeah,
have a
like a
pretty
scary
good
fun.
Beauty and the Beast ride. I want to say it's at I can't remember
France,
if it's
Paris.
is it France? Is it Disneyland Paris or Euro Disney, whatever they call it nowadays?
Yeah, I believe it is.
That
Which
would
I
make
hear
sense.
is very
French.
remarkable. I think there's a one in Florida, but it's downsized. It's not. It's more of a theatrical type of thing.
I haven't
Mm.
seen that
Necessarily
one.
an attraction.
I
Yeah.
I know that they do have a Beauty and the Beast area for in their version of Fantasyland, but I don't think that they have any ride.
Well, we should just go and check it out.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
ladies
do
and
it.
gentlemen, that's our show for the
So
day.
we're
We're
gonna be
going to
at
hop on a
parks.
plane, go over to
Yeah.
Florida, and we will be joining you back live from the Magic Kingdom in Orlando. See you later. Goodbye. No, just
Yeah.
kidding.
Book the tickets. We're going.
You know, one of the things that I Mary actually talked. We were talking about going to Disneyland. She really wants to do this. She wants me and her to go to Disney California and go on Monsters Inc. But you know how the little buggies? There's I think 4 or 6 people could fit in it. It
I
used
think
to
so.
be. I think it's 6 now.
There's like
Anyway.
3 rows, and I think you can fit up to 3 people each row, I think.
Yeah.
And they're the
I think it's 3
Monstropolis
rows and you fit
Acmes.
2 people in. I think that's how it is. But
Well,
anyway,
however many people.
yeah, she wants to go in, and then she wants me to sit in the back while she sits with somebody in the front, and wants me to videotape and the ride and everything, and Mary pointing out stuff, and then at the end
that'd be
tell the
awesome.
person, oh, by the way, this is Mary Gibbs. She played Boo in Monsters Inc. And
Oh my God, that would be so fun.
You
Get the
have to do
reaction.
that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we keep saying we're going to do it, so we probably will this summer.
It could be like like that moment from Pirates of the Caribbean where Johnny Depp played Jack Sparrow on the ride for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And he was actually standing in for the animatronic there, and nobody knew until he actually started like
Oh my
waving at
gosh.
them and talking to them, and they're like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, I figure we could probably get away with filming it like 3 times before somebody says, "Hey, what are you doing? You guys are going on this. We know you're Mary. What's going on here? What are you filming?" Yeah.
Disney doesn't care if you film inside of the rides. It's
Well, they do frown upon it if you're like getting too much attention in one area.
That may be true. Yeah.
I suppose. She deserves to be there, though. She's Boo.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Huge.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
John Morris and I have talked about doing a broadcast of this show from California Adventure in front of the Toy Story Midway Mania ride.
That'd be cool.
Right? Since
Yeah.
he's got the tie to Toy Story being the voice of Andy, and kind of doing a show maybe like while we're in line and then the, kind of wrapping things up while we go on the show, and I could just kind of like film him, like maybe even like playing the game with the poppers and stuff like that, and see what his high
Oh,
score
you
would
guys
be and
should.
That'd be
everything.
cool. Yeah, we should. I like that idea. I might have to steal that from you.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, you know what the funny thing about John? I've known John for about 5-6 years now, and I have never heard him talk like Andy. Never have heard him. Have you?
He did it on our show.
Did he? Oh, I missed it.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you guys go to our YouTube channel and you click on the live link, it'll have all of our previous episodes there, and that actually kind of brings up a point that I want to talk about really quick. But search for the episode that John Morris was in, and I think about halfway through, I don't even know, I don't think we even asked him to do it. He just did it. And
Wow.
while he was doing that, we got so quiet and we just listened, and we
Oh,
like
wow.
tears were welling up in our eyes because he was actually doing the scene where he says goodbye to the toys and he's passing them over to Bonnie.
Wow.
And he's like,
Oh.
and this one is Buzz. And he's talking about like, how Buzz is like adventurous, and then this one is Woody, and he's the leader of all the toys and stuff like that. And I got like chills on my arms, and we're sitting there going like,
Oh my
goodbye,
goodness.
Andy's toys.
That would be brilliant. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, hey, Shamim is in the audience. Hello, Shamim.
Oh,
He's
hey,
saying,
Hi,
Shamim.
Shamim.
hello, Jerry. Hi, Jason. Hi, Leia.
Hello.
Main Gate Magic all the way. Thanks for joining us, Shamim. It's good to see you in the audience, buddy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And Shamim says that is his favorite scene. Yeah, it's a great scene in Toy Story, but it is so sad. I think it is the saddest Toy Story movie ever.
Well, I like the scene where they think they're all gonna fall in the little fire pit, and they're all.
That is scary.
I found it.
Devastating.
I found it kind of like, oh, they're gonna die. I was like, no, these are my friends. They can't,
Right.
And I'm a grown man when I saw it. I was just like, Disney knows how to give you the feels. That's for sure.
Disney definitely knows how to make a grown man cry. That is for damn sure. Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
looking to make sure nobody's watching me.
When
Turn
I saw
that into a ride.
scene, I was taken back to the Brave Little Toaster. It was that same type of like, what is going on? You remember the Brave Little Toaster in the junkyard, and they're about to be like, incinerate. I forget, but I was like, what?
Yeah.
I've never.
You have
seen
not
the Brave
seen
Little
it? Oh
Toaster.
my
No,
goodness.
I'm sorry. No, not something that I've ever watched growing up or even as an adult. So.
Oh no, it's okay. It was an okay movie, but yeah.
I thought
Does he get thrown in the junkyard or something like that?
Yeah, there's this evil like incinerator crusher thing, and it's like these adorable little characters, and he's just gonna kill them, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Wow,
I think
that's
it might have been a
brutal.
Don Bluth movie. I don't know. Something like
Which
that.
the Brave Little Toaster in a Don Bluth movie?
I'm wondering if that was one of his films. It definitely was in the era of Don Bluth movies.
Even
I
don't
can picture
know.
him animating it. So
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I wanted to kind of just drop something really quick for those who are listening and watching or whatever. Not the YouTube, but the Facebook policies of our live videos has changed again. Used to be, now they were going to keep the live videos that we recorded for our podcast on for a full year. Anything that was older than a year, they're going to be removing for, I'm guessing, storage purposes. That has now changed. They're only going to retain them for 30 days. So I know it's horrible, but it's just live video recordings. So just like, if I do a podcast like this and we're streaming on Facebook now, you can still watch us on Facebook and you can still watch the episode from Facebook, but only if it's 30 days or less.
Are all your films up right now?
On Facebook, no, they're going to start disappearing very soon. I think we only have stuff up to a year, and then I think at the end of this month is when they start pulling it back to just 30 days. But like I said, if you go to YouTube, that's going to be kind of our new go-to place if you want to watch any of the prior episodes or see what we were talking about, like the episode I was mentioning for John Morris. YouTube, go to the live section. It has all of our shows. And as far as I know,
on YouTube, it's like
on YouTube, it's fine. We are preserved on YouTube. And of course, if you wanted to listen to everything, it's still on all the audio channels as well for the audio only podcast portion. So way to go for everybody else that doesn't do the same thing Facebook is doing. I have no idea why they're doing that, but I just got an email and they said, sorry, we're just only going to do 30 days.
It's probably a storage thing.
I would think so too, but you know what? This is a company that is no longer technically called Facebook. They're called Meta. You would think that a company called Meta
Yes.
would
Meta,
have like,
yeah.
lots of storage available to
Yes.
do whatever they need to do, but
I
I don't know.
agree.
It
That's
could
a
be
little bit
that
over
they're
my
getting
pay
ready.
grade.
It could be that they're getting ready to charge you for extra space.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Now, okay, so I wanted to bring up one other thing that I thought was like totally awesome. When I did the Keys to the Kingdom show with Mary, I thought this is like almost like foreshadowing, right? And Jerry, I don't know if you remember this because I think you were listening to us while we were recording, but I know you edited it. You edited the video and you put it up on your site, but I think Mary had an idea for the
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. ride, right? Okay, you see
Yeah.
where I'm going with this?
Yeah. That was brilliant.
She had an idea, and I know this is going to sound crazy because of the recent news that we found from D23, but she thought it would be a great idea to have a ride from the movie Monsters Inc. where you're like doing the chase scene with the doors as like a roller coaster.
Yes. Oh, that's
But
amazing.
But at D23, they made an announcement that is actually going to be a ride that they are putting in Florida.
Proof that they
So-
listen to these podcasts. And
I know, right? So I'm
So we
wondering
have
if
to go to Florida.
you just have to go to Florida when they
Yeah.
build it, of course. But I mean, I just think that's amazing that she was actually the one that mentioned it. I have no idea how early that concept was. They may have thought about it like well beforehand, but it wasn't publicly known at the
Yeah.
time.
Wow.
So
it
she
was
had
definitely
kind of
the first time I heard it.
Me too. It was almost like a you know how they say the Simpsons can like predict the future. She kind of did the same thing, right? She had a show and predicted a new ride at Disney World.
Main Street Magic can predict what's going to happen at these theme
Right.
parks.
Exactly.
Tune in.
Yeah.
Shamim says, "Can't wait for our episode. I think it might be a long one." Yeah, Shamim, if you're on it, I'm sure it will be a long episode because I know that you're probably going to have tons and tons and tons of things to share with us for all the Disney people that you've met over your lifetime so far. Because I know he's for those who didn't catch last week's episode, he was on the show in the audience as well. And Shamim has got like probably the most extensive collection of autographs from everybody. And I don't mean just Disney
Oh,
folks.
that'll be
I
so
mean
fun.
everybody. He's done
Yeah.
like people from movies and authors and artists, and I probably couldn't even name them all, obviously, but I'll bet you he could. And just a fair warning, Shamim, when we do get you on our show, we still have to kind of keep it around an hour. So
You can do like part one,
Forewarned.
part two. Yeah.
actually, that's funny. His next comment says might be a two-parter.
Yeah, that's
Once again, Main Street Magic predicted what he
Main
was going to
Gate
say.
Magic. Thank you very much, Mr. Cornell. Main Gate
All right.
Magic.
Main Gate.
Main
Magic.
Gate Magic. Yeah.
Jason, Jerry, I have one more idea. I'm on a roll. I just have one more.
Hey, you know what? I want to hear it from the person that's never been to a park before. So go for it.
Yay! Okay. So you know those rides where you go in and you sit in a moving seat and you put on like 3D glasses or like
Oh, yeah.
interactive glasses and it moves?
I
Okay.
may have been on one or two.
Okay. How cool would it be with the AI age if before you walk in, they scan your face, and when you go in, you sit around a lot of people, but when you put on like these maybe like meta glasses,
Ooh.
you start at the beginning of Steamboat Willie and you become your own version of a cartoon character with him, and he walks you along on an adventure. And then you join like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, all the main characters, and you start jumping from the beginning of the cartoons to present day. Like you jump into a Goofy movie, you jump into this, and like they bring you along, and each time you become that animation, but it's you. And it would be like, and then Donald grabs you and takes you to Math Magic Land, and the ride would be like 10-15 minutes of just pure bliss. How
You know what would be cool?
And like water
is
splashes
awesome.
in your face, you smell like baked goods from Daisy Duck. Like,
Oh, yes.
You know what would be really cool is
Hear
if
me
they
out,
had
Disney.
they had those VR headsets, those VR.
That's what she's talking about. Yeah.
If they had the VR, but they had a program where you're actually in Disneyland and you can go all the rides. You know.
Like an actual interactive VR Disney park.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
For
that would
those
be
who just
cool.
don't have the ability to go on all the rides or something like that.
Yes, that would be
Or
great.
even just for anybody in general who wanted to
And
pay
it-
for it.
Of course, knowing Disney, every time you put them on, they would charge you entrance fee. Probably
Yeah, probably.
a parking
You hear the
fee as
whistle?
well. A parking fee as well, and
I
But
know
no,
that
that
would
would be really
be
fun.
interesting. Yeah, you could create your own avatar and you could walk around the park and
Yeah.
So fun.
I can't wait until VR gets to the point where you can actually smell the things that are actually going around, like the places you're at and stuff like
That would
that.
be
Although
interesting.
That'll be
I've I've
amazing.
I've been watching the latest season of Black Mirror. I don't know if you guys ever watched that on
I've
Netflix.
seen a few
I
episodes.
love Black Mirror. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the new season.
Okay, well, I won't get too immersive here, but speaking of immersive, there is one particular episode where they recreate a movie by implanting or not implanting, but putting this little thing on this actress's temple, and it immerses her into this old movie, this old noir movie where it was kind of like almost like Casablanca, but it was one made up for the show, and she reenacts the lead character but only as herself and not as the character from the film back in the day. And they're doing this to kind of resurrect the movie studio that's like kind of like on its last legs, right? Basically. So, but
Ooh.
but instead of VR, it's in her mind, but they're still casting what they're seeing, what she's seeing in her mind, and she's interacting with all of the old actors, and everything is still in black and white and everything. And of course, things go horribly wrong, but that's
Black
the
Mirror.
day that I'm looking forward to when I can
That'd be
just
really
get the
interesting.
VR goggles and just put a little sticker on my head and be like, okay, I'm going to go now. Bye.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It's scary,
Yeah.
but it sounds amazing.
Yes.
Shamim says, MouseCon memories and meeting Andrew and Disneyland memories. Yeah, we could talk about all that stuff, definitely, when you're on the show. Now, I told him, I said, I think it's a good idea to maybe have him on when we get, because he's been telling me lately that MouseCon is actually coming up on its 10-year anniversary, I think this
Wow.
year. So that would be a great show to have, and just to maybe have his experiences from all those MouseCons before and all the people
Yeah.
that he's met and the experience he's had from them. So I think that'd be great.
Mm.
Paul is in the audience. Paul was chatting on the show, I think, when Andrew was on the show last, and Andrew said Paul needs to be on the show, and he says, and then Leia, at the end of the ride, you see merch with your face on it for sale. Yikes. Wow.
Wow.
Paul,
Oh,
that is insanely ingenious. I love it.
Paul,
Yeah.
you and I need to get on this. Write them a letter.
Yes.
Would you guys go on
100%.
that ride and love it? Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
What?
I try anything almost once. Absolutely. Patricia says Apple Vision Pro has a 360-degree camera. Storage would likely be a main factor. Oh, maybe
Of
that's the
course.
reason why
yeah.
they're freeing up
Yeah.
space, I think is what she's saying. And I wouldn't doubt it either. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And Paul says, I also met Jerry and C. Andrew at 2 MouseCons ago. So, yeah.
We need to reconnect and chat and catch up. And
Andrew said he wants to connect me with him to have him on the show. I haven't had a chance to look up what you do, Paul, or what you've done and why you would be a good fit for being on the show, but I still want to hear it. So if you're listening, drop me a chat on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, and let's talk. My channel's always open, so please do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shamim also says Main Gate Magic. This year will be me and C. Andrew Nelson's 16-year friendship is May 16th.
Wow.
And it makes sense that he would know this. The kid is like, he's like a walking Bible of information, all the different things he's done. They met 16 years ago on May 16th, 2009. That's amazing. 16 years. I haven't even known you guys that long.
Have you seen his poster for the movie that he's coming out with?
Seen it. I've signed it.
Okay. Did you notice little fun fact? There's like a lot of theme parkology DVD covers on.
Oh, is there? Yeah. You know what? I think I do remember seeing that before.
That's really nice of him to do that. That guy's just a lovable guy.
Definitely.
Guys,
Just
I
like
have a fun
Already.
question.
Oh, okay.
I have a fun question for you guys and for anybody who wants to drop in an answer.
Yeah.
Out of all the Disney characters, which character do you resonate with the most? Like, you just feel like they're like your soul sister, soul brother, and it's just like your spirit animal. Like, who just resonates with you, even if it's one of their little cute animals?
Okay, so the first character that pops into my mind is Scuttle.
Scuttle, all right.
And it's not because I can do his voice, but it's because he feels like he's a know-it-all, but he really doesn't know everything. So it's a little humbling to know that about him. Because sometimes I feel like I do know a lot. I don't know it all, but
Yeah.
when we always get into the trivia, and Mr. Goofy,
Course.
says
You learn something new every day.
there's a
Love
lot of
that.
truth in that, right? I mean, it's like
Yes.
you are never ever gonna know everything. You're always gonna learn something no matter how old you are. And I think that's kind of like the lesson that I pull from Scuttle. So he's kind of like my spirit animal. A little ditzy, but he's confident that he knows it all.
Would you also say too, Jason, he's like excited about life? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Jerry?
Love that.
I think I'm more of the classic, like Peter Pan. Very
Oh, good one.
very
love that.
youthful. I mean, I can be I joke a lot, I kid around a lot. I'm one of those adults that just never quite grew up, and my grandkids will attest to that. But I think Peter Pan.
I think that's a great one, Jerry.
Paul
How about
says,
yourself?
I'm sorry. I'll
Go
get to
ahead.
Paul's statement in a second. Yeah, you, Leia, go ahead.
Ooh, okay. So everybody that knows me would know mine is Pocahontas, but my second
Yep.
one is actually Mulan. I resonate with her so much.
Wow.
She's like,
Because she wants to be a man?
yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm so glad you understand that. No, she's like,
Sorry.
she doubts herself, but yeah, she has like this heart of courage, yet she's really clumsy. Yet, I don't know, it's just like you just resonate with somebody for unspoken reasons and reasons. I just feel her so much. I love Mulan.
I think that's the movie that I have probably seen the least in the Disney classics. I have not seen that very many times.
Wow.
I know that in Pocahontas. Unfortunately, it's not like I've never seen them. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think I've maybe only seen them like maybe once or twice in my entire life.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get to Paul's little statement here. He says, "I've made props for Star Trek, Agents of Shield, and did a sci-fi museum in Old Sacramento." He called it SACDO.
Wow.
New Imagineers in the 90s. Yeah, okay, Paul. That's it. You got to come on now. I met another Imagineer at a Mouse Con recently, and I want to say his name was Kevin, but I cannot remember his last name for the life of me. And he created this like little company where he sells these Imagineering kits where you can actually make these.
Yeah. I actually bought one.
You bought one, right? This was
I
at
did.
the one
cool.
in Bakersfield recently, or was that the one in
Bakersfield,
Utah?
Yes.
Okay.
In Bakersfield.
Yeah. So I mean, talk about like making your own Imagineering stuff and like having keys to the kingdom. This one kind of actually sort of puts it in your hands. So I mean, I wish I had the information now. I'd promote it, but I just completely forgot about it. Paul also says, "Well, I have a thing for Megara, the interaction and the attitude." Yeah,
I love Meg.
I
She
do
is
love
the
Meg,
most
too.
underrated Disney female heroine.
Right. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
And then Patricia says Belle from a book standpoint. Yeah, Patricia's a writer. I totally get that. Yeah.
I get that. I totally get that.
That makes so much sense.
And Leia,
Yeah.
you're a writer too, so you've got that imagination. So I love the stuff that you actually mentioned on the show today. Even though you've never been to a park before, which I'm going to keep saying over and over again until you do go to a park.
Yes,
you got some great ideas.
You'll have to have a special episode when she does go to the park.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we should.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That'll be a lot of fun. Well, you know what? We've been talking about all of our stuff, and nobody from the comments has actually said what they would change or add or remove from Disney parks. And that was kind of the idea, folks, is that you're giving us great information about the stuff that we're talking about, but what would you change? What would you add? What would you even make like a brand new park? And if so, what would be the theme? We have California Adventures. We have Disney Tokyo Sea. So there are different themes to certain Disney parks. Would you make a different one that was maybe... Okay, here we go.
Ooh.
Disney Renaissance Park.
Oh, yeah.
For those old school folks that love all things Disney from 89 all the way to, what was it, 91, 92? Was it? No, not 90. It was like 89 through 90.
98. Mulan was 98.
I think it was 98. Yeah. So
yeah.
all
those have my absolute heart.
Completely around the Disney Renaissance era. So that's my final take on this episode tonight.
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing. I know they've got rides for Ariel already, and
Yeah.
well, let's see what others. The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is Ariel, but I'm trying to think of any other rides. Do you remember, Jerry? Like what other movies that were done in the Disney Renaissance era that
Oh,
actually have rides?
Sleeping Beauty was in
Oh,
the
that's
Renaissance.
before the
That's
Disney
way
Renaissance.
before, yeah.
Yeah, the Disney Renaissance started in '89. So,
Right.
Oh my gosh, a fun ride would be Hercules, like going into the
oh
underworld and going
yes,
up to Olympus. Oh, do they have
yeah.
that one?
No,
No.
Oh,
that
they
is
need
not a
to.
ride anywhere. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul says also I helped David Mumford and Bruce Gordon with Disneyland the Nickel Tour.
Yeah. Remember the
What
Nickel
is
Tour?
that? No, I
You don't know
don't. I
the
don't think
Nickel
I've
Tour?
ever. I don't know the
Oh,
Nickel Tour.
it's one
Just
of
because
those
I'm a
things.
Disney podcast host doesn't mean I know everything about Disney.
Right.
You're
Right.
subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? When I did the show, Keys to the Kingdom, I actually had Joshua with his wife Ashley on the show,
Mhm.
and Ashley suggested that there be what is that dessert that everybody calls
The gray stuff.
pineapple? No, the
Oh,
pineapple,
Dole Whip.
the Dole Whip. Thank you.
The Dole Whip.
That it
Yes.
should be sold in Disney, California.
Okay.
And I thought,
I
oh,
don't. Yeah, I
I
don't
didn't
think
think
Disney
nothing
does that
much.
there.
I didn't think much of it at the time, but it's one of those things that I actually keep thinking about. I was like, yeah, why don't they have it at
Yeah,
downtown
because
Disney,
they
DCA,
cross corn dogs from Disneyland over to
right?
California Adventures. Why not Dole Whip, right?
And the turkey wings,
Oh,
the turkey leg is in
Turkey. Oh,
DCA as
yes,
well.
that's right. Turkey legs are very popular. Absolutely.
oh,
Uh,
interesting.
Paul says, well, I would upgrade the immersive experience and less IPs like Horizons at Epcot. See Epic Universe. Oh my God, Epic Universe.
What is that?
Ugh.
Oh
Epic
my
Universe
God.
is the newest park that Universal released in Florida. It's next to their other Disney parks, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, and it is amazing. I have
Oh,
not been there yet, obviously, but I am definitely spoiler alerting myself by watching all the YouTube
I
videos.
know. I want to
And
go.
I'll have to look into
yeah,
that.
it almost makes me wish I had like a different topic for, a different type of podcast where I could just talk about everything, anything that I ever wanted. I thought about it once, but I'm like, nah, I love Disney too much. I can't do it. But yeah, it is definitely a park that Disney could learn from because the rides are so immersive, the animatronics are realistic, and
Ooh.
the character experiences and the technology are top notch, new age, very high tech
Yeah.
stuff. It's incredible. And then Patricia says, "Ooh, would definitely go to a Disney Renaissance park." Yeah, I'm glad you
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
one, Patricia. Paul says streamers are in tears when they see Epic Universe for the first time. Yeah, I know. I have seen it. I can imagine. I can relate it to the first time that I went to Galaxy's Edge for the first time, and I actually walked in, and I felt like I was on another planet. And then I walked through the alleyway where you come out and you see the Millennium Falcon in its full size for the very
Yeah.
first time. That was a first time religious experience for me at any Disney park ever. It was so amazing, and I definitely got emotional. It was 100% a completely unforgettable moment. And I think that's what Disney needs more of, is those unforgettable moments and those types of places where you walk in and it's that wow factor.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Not a lot of wow factors, but I think if they brought more of that stuff, then maybe people might not complain so much about the prices. just food for thought. Just
Yeah.
food for thought. Sophie, speaking of thoughts, any final thoughts before we close out the show? We are already at the end of our hour. Any other
Wow, that
final
was
things that
fast.
anybody wants to bring up or say before we end up saying goodbye?
The three of us,
Well,
I love our friendship. It's really special to me. We've been
Thank you,
friends for
Leia.
about
Same
5
here.
years.
I
And
Yes.
love working with you, Leia,
Yeah.
and Jason as well. I mean, you both are very good voiceover artists, and
Thank you.
Leia and I
Thank
are
you.
working on a few things together, which I'm looking forward to. And Jason, I love working with you. I'm kind of sad that your schedule's piling up to the point where we work less, but I am also very happy for you that you're succeeding in your journey to the voiceover.
Thank you.
Take over the voiceover world. So
I appreciate that, buddy. It's just, it was, I think I kind of like bit off more than I could chew for this time of year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't realize how crazy, number one, my new position with my full-time job would be, and also how crazy it would be for this particular peak. And I got like completely overwhelmed, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to step back. So, but the good thing is the light is growing larger at the end of the tunnel, and I'm seeing the end. I'm starting my vacation this coming Saturday.
Nice.
I am heading down to the Disneyland Resort on Sunday, the May the 4th. Sunday, May the 4th. I am heading
Wow.
down there for May the 4th.
Exciting.
And one of the people that has watched our show recently, his name is Jason. He does what is it? Something amusement. Oh my gosh, I'm still getting used to the name of his channel, but he has a YouTube channel as well. He's a programmer, and he's gonna be down there for May the 4th in downtown Disney somewhere. That is, he's going to do some Star Wars trivia that night at 6:00 at a place that is yet to be disclosed. But amusement, something. God, I am just drawing a blank on everything tonight. I am so sorry.
Yeah, I know the name. I just can't think of it.
But keep an eye out on
Yeah.
our social media, guys, because I will probably make a couple of posts about my plans and do some pictures from the parks and stuff like that. And I'm also going to be at Star Wars Night on Tuesday, May the 6th. So if you guys, which is, of course, the next show I think that we have scheduled, which we are also going to be doing another show about Star Wars on next Tuesday, the May the 6th. And our friend C. Andrew Nelson will be back. Leia and Thomas will be on as well. And instead of talking about episodes 4, 5, and 6 like we did last time, we're actually going to be conquering episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, interesting.
The cool thing about that, I won't be on, unfortunately, because I'll be, at the park and having a great time. And, you guys will have your own great time. I'll have my great time. The cool thing about that is that Andrew, even though he wasn't Darth Vader in those particular movies, he actually did do the visual effects for episodes 1 and 2. So very, very
cool.
close relationship to those movies. And you guys won't want to miss it. There's going to be some amazing stories and a lot of fun to be had, just like always.
How exciting.
So, thank you, Leia. Thank you, Jerry, for joining me on the show tonight. This was a lot of fun. It's a great topic. I liked it. I hope you had a good time too.
Imagination's going wild. So fun.
Yeah.
I know that spark of imagination, just like Figment talks about, right? I mean, you get on a roll and you're just like, ooh, what about this? Ooh, what about this?
Yeah.
I think we should do just an episode that is literally just called "What If" and not make it anything about like the parks. Just what if ... Disney,
No, what if ... Ooh, what about this?
Yeah, ... Ooh, what about this? Oh no, what about ...
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, Shamim, thanks, buddy, for watching. Everybody else in the audience who's still watching, thank you for being a participant in this show. This show wouldn't be anything without my special guests, my special co-hosts, and of course, all of you who are listening. I appreciate you all. I love you all. You guys have an amazing week. Tune in next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for Star Wars episodes 1 through 3 with special guest C. Andrew Nelson. I will see you guys all in 2 weeks, where I think maybe by then that will be the episode we have Adasa on. But stay tuned to our social media channels, and you'll see the upcoming episodes once we have her official date announced. Thank you all again for a wonderful show, and stay tuned because we actually have a special little message at the end. Good night, everybody.
Hey.
Thank you for tuning in to another fun-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. We hope you enjoyed the show. It's been our pleasure bringing a little Disney magic into your life. Please remain seated while the show comes to a complete stop, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast at all times. For more information about upcoming episodes, please make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. You are now free to exit the show. Please watch your step, and be sure to tune in next week for more Main Gate Magic. Bye-bye.